Hi there, this is Nova. Welcome to the Singer Featherweight Tip of the Month. I was getting ready to change over my machine. I'm working on a blue and yellow quilt for my daughter, and she has selected the King Tut variegated thread. This is it, in the shekels color, I believe is what it's called. And I was going to change over my machine to run that thread in it, and I thought, well, this would be a great thing to show my students and my customers and explain to you what I need to do to change over to this thread. Normally I sew with the Superior Masterpiece. This is it. I always buy it in a cone, and that's what I sew on. Superior Masterpiece is a 50 weight thread, and the King Tut is a 40 weight thread. So the King Tut is a thicker thread. And because I'm going to be running a thicker thread through my machine, I need to change some things about the machine. And I know this can be confusing for you, and I know that many of you were taught that you never ever start changing things on the machine, that you just stick the thread in and sew. But that's really a fallacy. And so I want to show you what I need to do to change over my machine to a 40 weight thread. King Tut is a 40 weight thread. And so I'm going to need to change that over. The first thing that I'm going to need to do is to change the thread in my bobbin case, and I already have a bobbin case with the shekels in it. So I'm going to snip this thread, snip the thread, and pull the thread out the direction that it would be going if I were sewing. You never pull back and pull the thread backwards against that spring. And then I'm going to put the shekels bobbin in my bobbin case, and I'm going to do the bounce test to see. Now it's a thicker thread, so I'm probably going to have to loosen up my bobbin case. So what am I looking for when I'm doing the bounce test? What I'm looking for is I'm going to hold that right there hold the thread, hold the bobbin case by the thread, and I'm going to give it a little bounce, and it should release about an inch of thread. This is not releasing, not quite an inch. So I'm going to adjust my bobbin case tension by turning the tension adjusting screw. That's, if you have the latch on the top, that would be the screw on the right, and it's just going to take just a hair. You never turn it more than 1/8 of a turn at a time, and give it a bounce. Oh, I like that. That was just perfect. So now my bobbin case is ready to put in the machine. So I'm going to unthread my machine, snip, and pull the thread out the direction that it would be going. And I'm going to put the shekels thread in. Don't need that with the regular spool. And I'm going to thread up. Now, one other thing that I'm going to need to do, I'm not going to finish threading right now because this is also a factor that I need to consider. This is a thicker thread than the Masterpiece. So I'm going to need to change out my needle to a 90 needle. I always use Smith's needles, and a 90 needle is the appropriate size for a 40 weight thread. Masterpiece takes an 80 needle, but a 40 weight thread is going to take a 90 needle. So I'm going to change my needle out, and then I'm going to finish threading up. Okay, putting in a 90 needle. Flat side is always to the left. You've got a built-in visual aid. The flat side of the needle plate, that's the same, it goes the same direction. The flat side of the needle and the flat side of the needle plate face the same direction. Okay, finish threading up here. Where's my threader? you're needing a detailed video of how the threader works, there's one under the product description on my website. There we go. Get my bobbin case in. And pick up my bobbin thread. Okay, now we adjusted the bobbin case tension earlier. We also are going to have to adjust the top tension. You always begin when you're adjusting tensions with the bobbin case. That is the correct place to begin. But now I've done the bobbin case, so I'm going to have to adjust my top tension as well. And again, because it is a thicker thread, I'm going to have to loosen the tension. I had it set, I had my tension assembly calibrated for 50 weight thread, so I know I'm going to need to loosen that from there. So I'm going to start by turning it down to about a 3. And again, if your tension assembly doesn't have numbers, that's fine. You're just going to adjust it until it has a good tension. You just can't come back to a number. So when I'm putting Masterpiece back in with the tension assembly I have, I can just turn it back to 4 and know that I've got a good tension there. But for those without numbers, you're going to have to play with it just a little bit. Okay? All right. Let's see what we have here. And again, Nova's Featherweight Tension Card is a great tool. If you have problems knowing what to do first and how to do things with adjusting tension, that is a fantastic tool, and that's exactly what it was designed for. Okay, what I'm looking for is a balanced stitch, no knots or loops on the top or the bottom, and that is what I have accomplished right there. And so my machine is set up and ready to go with Superior King Tut thread in it instead of the Masterpiece that I normally sew with. So to put it back for my normal quilting and to use the Masterpiece again, I would just reverse the process. Start with the bobbin case, put the bobbin case in, do the bounce test, put the Masterpiece back and adjust the tension. It should go right back to number 4. And don't forget the needle. Anytime you're changing thread weight is when you would need to adjust your tensions. Happy stitching!